Welcome to episode 18 of the Kyber Show. I'm Kin, and Skelterix and I would like to wish everyone a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Joyeux Noël, Happy New Year, and Bonne Année to all of you. This was an interesting second week of Grand Arena Championships. Folks have mostly settled on their teams and are focusing on trying to make sure they get their wins. There's no interesting fights that I saw with Gideon, with Moff Gideon, IG-11 or Quill, but hopefully that'll change in the upcoming weeks. Feel free to let me know if you did see any that I missed. I'd like to check them out. We still do have 3 very interesting fights for you this week, so let's take a look. This is an interesting first matchup here. It's definitely not a sure thing, but with this particular lineup on defense, it's pretty decent. Weapon tech goes always on Vader first, and he uses his Force Crush because of Palpatine's lead. He'll get 100% TM before going into Merciless Massacre. You do also have the advantage of having 4 out of the 5 targets who cannot resist or evade his basic. So having all of those ability blocks all the time gives you a huge amount of control. It's more of a problem with Padme because even with her basic, she'll give protection up, which will prevent debuffs in the first place. So you do want to try and maintain as many debuffs as possible from an Empire ally to allow Emperor Palpatine's lead to have that turn meter train going. So let's see. Yeah, we have a choice now of going after R2 or Anakin. Another Force Crush or a basic is the smart choice here. Now I think he's going to try and Culling Blade on Anakin, which is a very risky move with the critical hit immunity. Yeah, it didn't work. And the downside, it also removes the debuff, so the speed down is no longer active. Going for a Fracture and trying to get lucky with a stun, but impossible on Anakin because he has the locked protection up. So unless some magic happens now, it's pretty much over. Anakin's going to move, and it's going to get really messy really quick. Having all the stacking offense from PF certainly helps, though. He could go for a basic to call assists, but that's not going to work against Padme. Yeah, now R2 went because he wasn't ability blocked, because there was a Force Crush used on R2 instead of a basic. And there goes Thrawn, and the fight's basically, oh, yeah, well, Padme killed her lover. Yeah, that's about it. No choice really but to back out. The most important thing in this fight is keeping a lot of control until you're guaranteed a kill on Anakin. Or even on Padme is a possibility, but Anakin is certainly the most dangerous here. Tough matchup. Here we have a very difficult matchup as well. Bounty Hunters with Bosk versus First Order. And you can see they have the turn meter advantage, and it starts out really messily. It's also a problem because you don't get turn meter due to Hux. Going after special forces there at the beginning is very, very iffy move. Hux is the real engine of this team, so the sooner you can kill him, the better, especially since you have, trying to go after the contract, I understand, but it's not really going to make a difference, especially since you have 3 characters who can avoid taunt. Using the AoE from Bosk to go for an ability block is understandable, but a bit better to remove the advantage on Hux, so when he used his oppressive fire, it wouldn't remove all of your buffs. Things are not looking good, and now hitting KRU just gives him advantage. A double tap against Kylo Ren is also very iffy because not only is he stacking his offense, you're getting counterattack twice. Using execute to remove the retribution is smart, but too little too late really. And now only Django has the taunt remove. And now again using the mass attack against a target that does not have the contract on him is iffy because you're targeting KRU, you're just giving everybody advantage. And literally everybody advantage since the mass attack. Yeah, the fight is basically over. This is not an easy match like I mentioned at the beginning. The key, especially since there's no Sith Trooper, the red guy, is killing Hux as soon as possible. Nothing else really matters until Hux is gone. The advantage without the red trooper is there's no dispels or heals. So with 3 characters who can avoid taunt, Bosk, Mando, and Boba, it really should not be an issue going after Hux at the beginning of the fight. It's unlikely their opening salvo will kill anybody. But then if you don't kill Hux, you're just left in this sort of situation here, stuck behind the taunt and turn meter going crazy on the First Order side. So he's going to back out. It's certainly not an easy fight here. Yeah, really just all about killing Hux. He's pretty squishy. And with an execute and shrapnel blast and the assist call from Mando, especially if Jango goes before Mando, so he can get a debuff from shrapnel blast on Hux. So when Mando calls him for an assist, you get a double tap from Jango. Almost always will kill Hux. Tough match. Here we go in one of my favorite matches, either combat or fleet, I've seen in a long time. I was very surprised to see the outcome of this fight. So this is actually a matchup where it's all about control. Even though you may think that it's about the silencer doing a bunch of damage, it's really, even against First Order or Home 1 teams, it's really about the stuns from the silencer and maintaining control over the fight. So here he stunned Gauntlet to start out, that's great. Then he went for TIE Advanced, Vader Ship, and now he's thinking of whether he wants to do another TM swap, Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle First Ability, or whether he wants to use the ability block. I don't believe Fatal uses this fleet very often. If you go watch his video, you might see why earlier in his commentary. Okay, so yeah, now he goes for a big hit on Vader's ship, doesn't get it, and here it probably would have been better to do a stun with the silencer there. Anyway, here Hunted really does nothing in this particular matchup. There's no out of turn attacks or anything coming. So it's definitely better to do what he did here and call a basic from the silencer to stun TIE Advanced or Imperial TIE Bomber. Now the Executrix AoE landed ability block everywhere, and we're stuck with basics, and things are definitely not looking good. Gauntlet cleansed everything. Now here's where it gets really, really smart. So Ebon Hawk comes in, and part of Ebon Hawk's ability is to remove target lock and then apply chaff, which prevents the target lock from being reapplied from TIE Advanced. And then Silencer is able to get out TIE Advanced before Imperial TIE Bomber used his AoE. Brilliant move. Now we did lose the TIE Fighter, but with TIE Advanced out, we have a big advantage. And with buff immunity on Imperial TIE Bomber from an earlier hit by Ebon Hawk, another stun on Imperial TIE Bomber. Now we're going for TM for everybody. Yeah, exactly. Big hit. Look at how much he's ramping now. So with the control that we got earlier in the fight, now we have the damage payoff at the end, because it's surprisingly sort of an outlast team. Not from healing, although we do have another stun. Not from healing, but we do have a lot of health steal from Silencer, and just giving Silencer a bunch. 300k against the shuttle, that's huge. Yeah, and it's just clean up against the Imperial TIE Bomber here. The best part about this fight is that this is a level 1 5-star finalizer capital ship. I did not expect this outcome. Great play, very smart with Ebon Hawk. Awesome match. Thank you all for watching another episode. We're luckily able to make this one on time, but no promise for the next one. Maybe a little bit late again. If it is late for some reason, we'll certainly return to our more normal schedule after the new year. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their year and has some fun Star Wars toys or gameplay. Anyway, cheers. Talk to you guys next year.